Everyone considered him a weak orphan whose E-rank skills held no value in the new world, so they abandoned him to die. He vowed to take revenge on them all. The scene opens with a disturbing image, a young boy being beaten by his father simply because he was taking too long to eat his food. The child pleads, apologizing through tears, but his father doesn't listen. Meanwhile, his mother sits nearby, completely indifferent, her eyes glued to the television as if nothing is happening. Suddenly, the scene cuts, a gasp echoes. The boy jolts awake. It was a memory, a nightmare. Wakes up and sees that his class president Ayaka is being bullied by a boy named Yamada. Yamada refuses to give back her pass and mocks her by reading aloud from a romance novel. The other students ignore the bullying. The class is on a field trip, and Memori notices that most of his classmates have their heads down to avoid getting involved, while the elites laugh. The teacher doesn't care and sleeps. Memori thinks it would be cool to intervene, but then remembers he's just a loser who can't do much. When Ayaka is clearly distressed, Memori gathers courage and asks Yamada to return her book. Yamada is surprised by his boldness but refuses and starts picking on Memori instead. Just then, an elite student named Kirihara tells Yamada to stop because he's getting bored. Everyone admires Kirihara for handling the situation. Yamada apologizes to Ayaka but still resents Memori and begins to bully another quiet student. Finally, the teacher stops him, saying he can only bully others when a teacher isn't around. Memori feels he acted out of the dream's influence. Suddenly, all the students are shocked as they are teleported to a strange place. A woman who introduces herself as Goddess Wishes tells them they are heroes from another world. She explains that whenever the great demon empire rises in her world, they summon heroes from other worlds. 200 years ago, heroes defeated the demon empire, but now the evil has returned. The students can't believe they're in another world and think it's a prank, or maybe they died in an accident. Everyone panics, but the teacher calms them and tells them to listen to the goddess. Memori looks around, sees the old surroundings and the goddess with golden eyes, and starts to believe it's real. Kirihara asks what happens if they refuse to fight. The goddess explains that they can't return to their world. The only way to perform the reverse summoning ritual is to obtain the Demon King's essence, either by acquiring his heart or defeating him and sealing his essence in a crystal. Yamada is furious about being forced to fight, but the goddess begs for help. Ayaka says they're just ordinary people, far from being heroes. The goddess assures them that they possess powers others do not. Memori feels something is wrong. Oyamada is tired of all the pranks and Memori thinks Oyamada annoying the goddess. The students get scared when a prisoner is brought in to be eaten by a demon. The goddess kills the demon with a fire spell, but the students are still in denial and think it was all CGI. The goddess changes the topic and announces that it's time to reveal everyone's hidden skills. Each student touches a crystal ball. If it glows, it means they have a special skill. When Oyamada touches it, the light becomes extremely bright, and everyone is shocked to see he has great power. Oyamada, who was earlier unsure about becoming a hero, now wonders how amazing it could actually be. Next, it's Kirihara's turn. His power is so strong that the crystal ball breaks. This means he is an S-class hero, the highest rank. Oyamada, who is an A-class hero, admits that Kirihara would be top-ranked no matter what world he's in. Then it's Aya's turn, and she too is revealed to be an S-class hero. The goddess is shocked that she now has 3 S-class heroes. Normally, even getting one is rare. She says this is the best summoning ever. Now is Memori turn. When he touches the crystal, it glows faint purple, and he doesn't understand what it means. His glow is the weakest of all. The goddess ignores him instead of announcing his rank. Memori feels once again that he is very weak and accepts it. Then a quiet student named Yasu touches the crystal, and it glows black. The goddess says this has only happened once before, and that person became a powerful A-class dark hero. Yasu proudly laughs and says he knew his time would come. The goddess then shows everyone how to check their stats. Memori's stats are very low. He has a unique skill called Status Elements. Oyamada gets bored and wants to hurry up with becoming a hero. A teacher tries to show respect to the goddess, but Oyamada silences him, saying the teacher is just a D-class hero. The goddess says only one ritual is left and calls Memori to the front. He doesn't understand why, and she tells him he's the lowest rank E-class. She says the weakest hero always holds others back, so from now on, the weakest one will be killed after every summoning. Everyone is shocked to hear this. But this time, something different happens. They decide to give the lowest ranked hero one last chance. Memori is to be sent to a deadly place called the Ruin of Disposal. If he survives and comes back, he will gain his freedom. Memori doesn't know how dangerous it is. Many criminals and heroes were sent there, and no one ever returned. Memori tries to save himself by talking about his unique skill, but the goddess says status elements is a useless skill. It rarely works, and even when it does, the effect doesn't last long. She also says his stats are too low, and even if he levels up, it won't make much difference. Memori feels it's unfair that he was only summoned to be punished. Kirihara tells him to just go and start the ritual. Others also tell him to leave quickly. Memori feels a little better when Yasu asks if he's okay. Yasu, who used to be kind to him, changes his behavior. He says he doesn't want to talk to someone with such a low rank and calls Memori a trash hero. Memori is shocked. The goddess begins the ritual. Each hero receives a special item, but Memori only gets a simple leather bag. The gem on it only glows when filled with magic. That's its only feature. Suddenly, Aya stands up to support Memori, but the goddess knocks her out instantly. The goddess says to forget about Memori because he won't survive. She tells the others they are the true winners and they must watch what happens to someone like Memori. Memori gets angry and uses a paralysis spell on the goddess, but she says she has a defense barrier that blocks status effect spells. The goddess says goodbye to Memori. Everyone is shocked when Kirihara uses an attack spell. He apologizes, saying he was just testing. The ritual continues, and everyone is happy that their future won't be ruined. The goddess asks Memori if he has any last words. He just starts crying. Suddenly, we see Memori as a small child crying. His other self tells him that no matter how hard he tries to hide his feelings and act harmless, he can't hide his true self. He tells him to show his true colors and stop holding back. Memori's real self awakens. He lets go of his weak personality and angrily curses at the goddess. Everyone is shocked. Memori says that if he survives and comes back, he will take revenge on all of them. Memori is teleported to the ruin, where it's completely dark. He pours magic into the gem to light the way and starts exploring. Suddenly, he is attacked by a monster, and he runs to save his life. Memori realizes that the monster is far stronger than him. He panics and tries to hide the glowing gem, thinking it's attracting the beast. But then it hits him. He isn't really afraid. He's hopeless. He has no weapon. His stats are terrible. His skill is considered useless. He starts to accept that maybe this is where his life ends. But suddenly, something inside Memori awakens. He remembers how the goddess and his classmates abandoned him, calling him weak and sending him to die. Anger and determination rise in him. He shouts that he needs power now. He uses a paralysis spell on the monster and manages to escape. Memori is shocked. His skill actually worked. Maybe it's a miracle? But before he can relax, a new monster appears. Terrified, Memori cries, thinking this is really the end. He tries the same spell again, and it works again. That's when he realizes, this isn't luck. This is his ability. But now his boosts are gone, and his magic power is almost empty. He fears that his skill won't work anymore. Yet, to his surprise, he manages to cast a poison spell on the monster, and it works amazingly well. He realizes, the monster's rank doesn't matter. What matters is how he uses his magic. Memori's magic is almost depleted now. He wonders, what if I try using status elements again? But suddenly, the first monster returns. For a moment, he foolishly thinks someone might come to rescue him, like in movies. But no one does. Then, the truth hits him hard. No one is coming. He remembers how badly everyone treated him. Even as a child, he was beaten and left behind. His frustration reaches a breaking point. He realizes he's not some side character. He can't rely on others anymore. If he wants to survive, he must fight alone. His spirit ignites. His will to win takes over. He casts paralysis again, but this time it fails. A message pops up. You cannot use the same spell repeatedly on the same target. He quickly searches for a new strategy and manages to cast sleep on the monster. It works. He understands now, he can't use the same effect over and over, but he can mix different ones. He stacks poison on top of sleep and finishes the monster. He's exhausted. His natural magic power is nearly gone. Then, a horde of monsters appears. Memori decides, he'll fight with everything he has, even if it means risking his life. He repeatedly casts paralysis. It works. But his MP is rapidly draining. He gets dizzy and almost collapses. More monsters arrive. Things are getting worse. He tells himself, forget about magic power. Survive first. He keeps using his skill despite the danger. Some monsters resist and escape, and Memori is pushed to his absolute limit. He refuses to give up and prepares for one last attack. And then, he levels up. His magic power is restored. Overjoyed, he casts paralysis again and saves himself. He realizes he gained a ton of EXP from that strong monster. He gets excited. He can fight again. His skill, status elements, levels up to level 2. Now, he can target multiple enemies at once. He paralyzes and poisons several monsters. His powers are now truly effective. His stats are rising. He keeps leveling up. Even his sleep skill reaches level 2. Filled with confidence, Memori believes he can defeat any monster now. As he prepares for the next battle, he notices something strange. The monsters are running away. They're afraid of him now. He finds some clothes from a dead body and puts them on. Now he needs food and water. He searches everywhere but finds nothing. Desperate, he decides to eat the monster he just defeated. But the monster's skin is too tough. So he tries removing its eye and eating that instead. The taste is absolutely disgusting. He chews it and immediately throws up. Memori suspects that the monster's body might be filled with poison. Things have taken a darker turn, and he now realizes this place was truly designed to end lives. Starving and desperate, he notices the light on his backpack has changed color, and it feels heavier than before. Curious, he opens it and finds soda and jerky inside. Overjoyed, he begins eating without understanding how the bag works or whether it will ever provide food again. But for now, he's just thankful. Soon after, Memori defeats a massive army of monsters. They're all paralyzed, and he waits patiently for the poison to take full effect. Sitting atop a giant dragon, he watches as the creatures begin to fall, knowing it'll all be over in just a few seconds. As they collapse, he levels up once more, so much that he gets emotional and begins to cry. Memories of his childhood flood back. The dream of revenge, the belief that he would one day have to kill his own father before his father could kill him. But fate intervened. His aunt and uncle adopted him and showed him what love felt like. They taught him kindness and empathy. He once believed he had become like them, but now, standing among the fallen, he feels nothing. No fear, no sorrow. He accepts his new self and lets go of who he used to be. He effortlessly defeats a powerful eye monster and uses a gem to channel magic into a mysterious door, which creaks open. Inside, he finds 2 lifeless bodies. Shocked, he notices the gems lying near them and wonders if he might need them when he returns. Whispering an apology, he takes the gems and continues his exploration. After inspecting hundreds of rooms, Memori enters one that draws significantly more magical energy than the rest. Inside, he discovers another corpse, this one with a letter. The man's name was Anglin, once known as the Hero of Darkness. Memori recalls the goddess calling Anglin the strongest hero of them all. According to the letter, the goddess forcibly teleported Anglin to this place, claiming she no longer needed him. She left him to die in this prison. Before succumbing, Anglin left something behind, for anyone brave enough to find it. Enraged, Memori curses the goddess. She claimed the Demon Empire was evil, but she's even worse. And perhaps he's not much different either. He doesn't care about saving the world. He just wants revenge. Memori finds a book left by the Dark Hero, filled with recipes for magical items and weapons. Among them, he discovers a scroll containing forbidden magic, but the language is unreadable. If he could decode it, it might just become a game changer in his battle against the goddess. Then he freezes. One page holds a chilling warning about the Soul Eater, the very creature responsible for all the death in this place. Pushing forward, he eventually finds a door. But this one won't open without a specific mechanism. He suspects it might be the exit, and also realizes the Soul Eater is likely nearby. This creature is so dangerous that even the mightiest heroes couldn't defeat it. Despite everything, Memori believes he's now leveled up enough to defeat the creature. He discovers a strange face embedded in a wall and suspects the orb lodged in its forehead might be the key to unlocking the final door. But this isn't just any face, it belongs to the Soul Eater. The moment Memori makes the slightest movement, it opens fire. The Soul Eater wastes no time. It needs the orb, and Memori must risk everything to claim it. To activate his status-enhancing skill, Memori must shout aloud, but before he can, the Soul Eater shifts. It's a monster so powerful, even the strongest hero couldn't survive against it. In that moment, Memori realizes this is a battle between life and death. Suddenly, the Soul Eater begins to vomit. What emerges horrifies Memori. It's not just bile, it's the mangled, suffering forms of the monster's previous victims. Their twisted appearances still resemble humans. Memori hesitates. He can't bring himself to paralyze or poison them. They look too human. He yells at the Soul Eater, telling it that souls aren't toys. He refuses to poison those monsters because deep down, he still sees himself as human. The Soul Eater grows more amused by Memori's suffering. It tortures him with glee and begins creating even more monsters. Terrified, Memori shouts for the creatures to stay back. But the Soul Eater just laughs maniacally, drunk on the pleasure of watching him break. Then everything changes. Memori's expression hardens. In a sudden move, he paralyzes the Soul Eater. He reveals this has always been its greatest weakness. He explains that he intentionally showed hesitation, knowing the Soul Eater would indulge in its sadistic pleasures long enough to get careless. It never even noticed that Memori's left hand had remained raised the entire time. Its arrogance was its downfall, and Memori capitalized on it. He defeats the monster. His paralyzed skill hits a new peak, level 10. Gasping, Memori says he did everything he could just to survive. This wasn't luck, it was will. He accepts that he's no longer the boy he used to be. He once tried so hard to appear harmless, to be kind, to bury who he really was. He fooled even himself, but no longer. With renewed resolve, he poisons all the soul monsters, coldly stating he feels nothing for them. They were just puppets created by the Soul Eater. As the Soul Eater screams in pain, Memori feels a surge of pride. He defeated this terrifying beast at his weakest, a human thrown into a dungeon to die. He mocks the monster for losing to someone so broken, so fragile. When the Soul Eater tries to crawl away, Memori notices something important. The paralyzed skill inflicts even more damage the moment the target tries to move. The monster's fate is sealed. At last, Memori poisons the Soul Eater, and his poison skill reaches level 3. With one final spell, he ends the battle, casting sleep and bringing silence to the chaos. As the creature collapses, the souls it had tormented begin to rise. They surround Memori, their forms glowing faintly, and thank him. They tell him they've been watching him all along, and they believe he'll use their gems wisely. Among them stands the Dark Hero, his presence still strong despite death. He looks at Memori and urges him to take revenge on the goddess, the one who cast them all aside like tools. Memori nods, silently fueled by purpose. He takes the Soul Eater's orb and places it into the exit door's mechanism. With a low hum, the door unlocks. Light pours in from the other side. Without looking back, Memori steps forward, leaving the dungeon and his old self behind. Outside, chaos unfolds as students begin killing monsters to collect experience points. Yamada chases a wolf with fierce determination while Kiriharu cheers joyfully as he reaches level 18. Meanwhile, the quiet boy Yasu watches a monster writhe in agony and starts laughing maniacally. A girl named Agi intimidates another timid girl, warning her that their class will soon break apart. She believes their egos are too large and assigning classes hasn't helped at all. Agi explains that the students will soon split into groups, and she wants the fearful girl to join hers. This girl, Kabatu, is only D rank, making her unworthy of joining Kiriharu's elite group. Agi suspects that Aya won't survive long enough to form her own team. She warns Kabatu that without a group, she'll have nowhere to fit in. Agi admits that if they manage to defeat the Demon Empire and return to their world, it could work in their favor. The goddess has assigned the students a trial: eliminate monsters. Kabatu hasn't completed her assignment yet, so Agi orders some girls to fetch a monster to help her pass. Kabatu hesitates, but Agi reminds her that if she fails to kill the monster, she'll be disposed of, just like Memory. Overwhelmed by fear, Kabatu kills the monster. Agi congratulates her on passing the test and welcomes her into the group. Kabatu, however, feels awful. She remembers how Memory once rescued an injured cat. After the kill, she's consumed with guilt and apologizes, knowing she had no other choice. Elsewhere, Aya regains consciousness, still aching from the punch the goddess dealt her. She confronts the goddess about Memory, but the goddess coldly replies that nothing can be done. According to the kingdom's policy, the weakest hero must be eliminated. The goddess feigns regret, revealing that the ritual is still ongoing. While Aya was unconscious, other students were sent on a test to see if they could kill monsters. Many failed and were disqualified. The goddess expresses phony sorrow and claims that heroes who can't fulfill their duties must be discarded. Aya, displeased with her methods, reminds the goddess that she is an S-class hero. She vows to fulfill the duties of the fallen students in exchange for stopping their disposal. The goddess agrees and even apologizes for the earlier punch. In the dark forest beyond the ruins, a girl runs desperately, pursued by a group known as the Holy Watchers, led by Mags. Meanwhile, Memory resurfaces and checks his stats. He discovers that he can now remove paralysis at will and make his poison non-lethal. This means Memory can now use his skills without needing to kill his targets. Realizing this, he decides he needs a sword and a bodyguard. Soon, he comes across a group of slimes, one of which is being bullied by the others. Memory hopes the bullied slime will stand up for itself, but it's too weak and outnumbered. Feeling pity, Memory watches in surprise as the small slime suddenly pushes back its bullies. Stepping in, Memory paralyzes and poisons the aggressors, noticing that he can now adjust the settings of his skills. He drives the bullies away, leaving only the small slime behind. Impressed by the slime's courage, Memory assures it that he won't hurt it. As he begins to walk away, the slime starts following him. Memory realizes this creature, much like himself, is an outcast, and it wants to stay by his side. Meanwhile, the princess is exhausted from running. She finally understands the hunting methods of the Holy Watchers. Memory forms a team with the slime and instructs it to watch his back. While reading a book left behind by Engel, Memory learns of an experiment that empowers monsters. The book includes a formula that can enhance slimes. He shares with the slime that he's on a mission for revenge, and if the slime stays with him, that goal will become its own as well. Memory asks the slime if it's ready for this journey, and it responds with full determination. He names it Piggy Maru, and the little slime beams with joy. Driven by vengeance, Memory no longer hesitates to use forbidden magic and dark arts. The princess, realizing she can't escape the Holy Watchers, decides to use something she had never wanted to. She sacrifices her sleep, and after casting a spell, she transforms into Spirit Regalius. Suddenly, the Holy Watchers cross paths with Memory. They decide to rob him. Mags, one of them, wants to test his new sword on him, while others urge him to finish quickly so they can resume chasing the princess. They make crude comments about her and other girls, which infuriates Memory. Seeing Memory appear to cower, they assume he's weak. Memory pretends to beg for his life, until Mags strikes. To their shock, memory paralyzes him instantly. He grins, realizing his skills work on humans too. They aren't nearly as terrifying as dungeon monsters. With confidence, memory mocks them, calling them weaklings. Even Piggy Maru is furious. Memory decides he won't hesitate to kill a thug if needed. From now on, he will meet bloodlust with bloodlust. If that means killing humans, so be it. The thugs begin to understand just how terrifying memory truly is, but by then it's too late. Memory poisons them all. Memori senses a presence nearby. At the same time, the princess grows nervous. She can no longer detect the Holy Watchers. This unsettles her, making her fear they may be planning something unseen. Suddenly, she feels the presence of someone else. It's not overwhelming, but deeply unsettling. She strikes without hesitation, but Memori surprises her by paralyzing her from behind. He had sensed her hostile intent, but he also felt something else, something that made him curious. He paralyzed her only as a precaution. The princess wonders what Memori wants from her. He calmly explains that he's not from this area and needs information. He allows her to move her mouth but warns her any suspicious move and she'll be paralyzed again. She agrees to answer his questions, but first, she asks where the 4 men are. She's shocked to learn that Memori has already taken care of them. She reveals they were Holy Watchers, elite and powerful. She wonders if Memori had help. Memori mentions he has a companion but refuses to say more. She senses no deceit in his words and decides to answer honestly. She also feels thankful. He saved her life. Memori tells her she doesn't seem like a bad person. They agree not to interfere in each other's lives. When Memori asks his questions, the princess explains they are in a forest south of the kingdom. He then asks about the scroll. She tells him it's an ancient and unique script, but she cannot read it. However, she knows of a witch who can. This witch holds vast knowledge of the world's forbidden arts and is considered dangerous. Memori expresses a desire to meet this witch, but the princess warns him she lives in the territory of the golden-eyed monsters, a perilous land. The princess feels she's given too much information just to save her life. Her kindness reminds Memori of his aunt, who was once very dear to him. He tells her the paralysis will wear off in a few minutes, but he can't guarantee her safety after that. She accepts this, and he wishes her a safe journey before walking away. Memori tells Piggy Maru that he doesn't enjoy taking lives. He only acts according to his rules. He's unsure whether the girl will attack once free, so he relies on Piggy Maru to watch his back. Later, Memori arrives at a city, pretending to be a mercenary summoned to conquer the ruins. He's granted entry. City officials want more mercenaries heading toward the ruins. The receptionist, San, treats him coldly at first, but when Memori shows he can pay for a room, San's attitude changes. When asked his name, Memori lies. He says it's Hetty. That night, Memori changes clothes and explores the city. People are suspicious of him. He visits several shops before choosing to dine at an alcohol shop, because that's where people speak freely. It's perfect for gathering information. Nearby, a group discusses the nation's most powerful factions. They all agree the Black Dragon Knights of the Box Empire are the strongest. They command 5 dragons, each capable of annihilating entire armies. They also possess the mightiest hero Slayer. Later that night, Memori talks with Piggy Maru about their future. Their top priority is finding the person who can read the scroll of foreign magic, which means locating the witch hidden in the golden-eyed monster territory. But first, Memori wants to enhance Piggy Maru's abilities using the monster enhancement technique. Memori recalls hearing that a new floor was discovered in the mill's ruins, explaining the influx of mercenaries. Fortunately, the ingredient needed for enhancement is rumored to be in the ruins. The next day, the city leader orders all mercenaries to explore the new floor. He announces a reward, 300 gold pieces for retrieving the Dungeon Eye Chalice, along with generous compensation for any other treasure found. Memori sees this as an opportunity to collect the powder from the Skeleton King. While in line, Memori notices a strange man harassing a girl. The man tries to recognize her voice, suspecting she might be a famous paladin from a certain nation. He gossips with others, thinking she is the former knight captain, now with a bounty on her head. The man remembers being rejected by the knight captain in the past. Though the girl doesn't seem to recall him, he recognizes her rude attitude and thinks he can expose her by checking her ears. The knight captain is a high elf, a rarity in this region. Pointed ears would confirm her identity. Calling himself Joe Getty, he pulls off her hood. But when he sees her ears are normal, he's stunned. The girl introduces herself as Misty and tells him he's mistaken. Joe, furious, claims he hates beautiful women and intends to teach her a lesson by humiliating her. After he leaves, Mimori approaches Misty and advises her to be more cautious. That man was consumed by rage and hate. Misty shrugs it off. She's used to it. She prefers people to hate her rather than try to get close. It's clear she avoids emotional connections. Before entering ruins, Mimori realizes he needs to buy some supplies, but he doesn't want to get scammed by the merchants. So, he offers Misty some money in exchange for her help. Luckily, Misty is in need of some coin and agrees. They exchange names, though Mimori quickly senses that Misty is using a fake one. It becomes clear that both of them carry secrets, so they agree not to reveal their real names for now. Misty helps him with shopping, and in return, Mimori gives her 3 silver coins. Suddenly, Misty collapses and admits she hasn't slept properly in 3 days. She brushes it off as nothing and walks away. Watching her leave, Mimori decides it's finally time to conquer the ruins of Mills. As soon as he enters, he hears terrified screams. A group is fleeing from a monster. Mimori quickly paralyzes and poisons the creature, then easily slays a smaller version of it that he had fought before. He realizes the monsters inside the ruins are significantly stronger. A while later, the group that fled returns and is shocked to find the monster already dead. With a single stab wound, Mimori finds a safe spot, takes a break, and checks his stats. That's when he overhears the same man from earlier hiring thugs to attack Misty. The man wants her dead, but slowly, hoping she will suffer and regret her actions. He is driven by rage and won't rest until he sees despair on her face. He gives the thugs permission to do whatever they want with her, which infuriates Mimori. When he confronts the thugs, they threaten to kill him, thinking no one would care since people go missing in the ruins all the time. Mimori pretends to beg for his life, but Jogati, the leader, mocks him for being a coward. As Jogati moves in for the kill, Mimori quickly paralyzes and poisons them all. He doesn't hesitate. People like them deserve no mercy. Jogati vows revenge, but Mimori simply says that's exactly why he's dealing with them now. Already paralyzed and poisoned, the thugs are left behind, and are eventually devoured by monsters. Just before entering the next floor, Mimori finds a quiet spot, rests, and takes a 3-hour nap. As he explores deeper, he comes across a group called the Saber Tigers. They tell him something strange is happening in the ruins. Monsters are being killed in odd, random places, and no one knows who's behind it. All the bodies have turned yellow, and both strong and weak creatures are dying the same mysterious way. The Saber Tigers thought they were the first to reach the 14th floor, but then they found the remains of slain monsters. Their leader, deeply concerned for his crew's safety, decides to retreat. They invite Mimori to join them, but he declines. Still, they ask him to spread the warning to others he might encounter. After they leave, Mimori realizes those dead monsters were the ones he had killed using his skill. We are shown a flashback of all the creatures he has taken down. The side effect of his methods has frightened off the competition, making his path easier. Eventually, Mimori discovers the Dragon Eye Chalice, but it's guarded by a dragon. He knows touching it will awaken the beast, so he preemptively paralyzes and poisons it. The creature was still alive, but not for long. Mimori asks Piggy Maru to watch their bag while he picks up the chalice. The dragon succumbs to the poison, dying quietly. Suddenly, Misty appears. Mimori casually hands her 4 gold coins, which shocks her. The 300 gold reward for the chalice was no joke. Misty insists on giving him something in return, but Mimori refuses. He wants nothing. With his mission complete, Mimori begins preparing for his next journey. But Misty doesn't want to accept everything so easily. Mimori tells her that the persona he's using, the kind, helpful man, is just a mask. His real objective isn't treasure. Suddenly, Memori reveals a hidden path and admits his true goal: to defeat the powerful monster lurking deep below. Still, Misty insists on repaying him. She offers to become his guard, vowing to protect him with her sword skills. Memori notices how clingy she is, so he agrees, but with conditions. First, they won't interfere in each other's personal lives. Second, he plans to spend a long time on the next floor, so if Misty decides to leave, it won't be his responsibility. Misty accepts the terms and swears to protect him with her life. Moments later, she proves her worth by swiftly slaying a monster with impressive skill. Seeing her in action, Memori asks if she knows anything about golden-eyed monsters. Misty explains that they're considered ideal prey for heroes, perfect for leveling up after arriving from another world. Memori doesn't reveal that he himself is one of those heroes. Misty goes on, heroes don't gain experience points from eliminating other people, only from defeating monsters. According to legend, the Demon King, the source of all evil, produces a special energy called the Demon King's Essence. Monsters strongly influenced by this essence become golden-eyed. This energy unleashes their most violent instincts. As they explore further, Misty senses a monster nearby. It's not very strong, so she initially ignored it, but it's close. It turns out to be none other than Piggy Maru. Memori introduces Misty to the little slime. At first, she's frightened, but Memori reassures her it's safe. Eventually, she pets it affectionately. Misty is hesitant to rest, but Memori urges her to lie down. She's clearly been exhausted from the beginning, so he uses his ability to lull her to sleep. As a result, the magic disguising her appearance fades, revealing her true identity: Knight Captain Ash Ren. Meanwhile, the Black Dragon Knights discover the bodies of the 4 Holy Watchers. The Knights conclude that these elite warriors were killed instantly, without even a proper fight. The Dragon Knight leader suspects Ash Knight Captain is responsible. No one else could have done it. Misty wakes a while later, shocked to find she had fallen asleep. Memori pretends he just woke up too. Suddenly, they're attacked by the Skeleton King. Memori senses that this monster is far more powerful than any they've faced before. But Misty is confident they can win if they destroy the silver part beneath the monster's crest. She knows even the Saber Tigers couldn't defeat this beast. Misty prepares to use a skill that will boost her physical abilities and allow her to summon armor. She asks Memori to keep this power secret. Apologetically, she says if the beast defeats her, she won't be able to protect him, and he'll have to run. But to her surprise, Memori easily paralyzes the monster's attack and poisons it. The giant beast is defeated without much effort. From the Skeleton King's remains, Memori retrieves the item he was looking for. As they prepare to return to the surface, Piggy Maru senses something inside the body. Wrapped in magical cloth, they find an egg. Piggy Maru wants Memori to take it home. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the ruins, Skeleton Knights attack Memori's classmates. One girl panics after her hand is severed, but her friend reassures her it can be healed. Ayaka tries to muster the courage to protect everyone, but just then, Yamada Kirihara arrives and unleashes his powerful abilities. Ayaka manages to save the wounded girl, and Kirihara announces he has reached level 24.